Welcome back, students. This is the professor, and in today's episode we're going to be creating a calculator app in Python. So this is something different than my code was video, but let's get right into it. This is going to be pretty fun. So I'm going to start off by creating different functions. Now what these functions are going to do is going to handle the different operations in the normal calculator. So I'm going to start with creating a new function called add, which is going to take in two parameters, x and y. Now when we return x and y, we're going to add it together. So I'm going to return x plus y. Now the next thing I'm going to do is create another function, and it's going to be called subtract, and it's also going to be taking in two parameters, which is going to be x and y. So I'll be return x minus y. Alright, and now I'm going to be creating a different function called multiply, and this will multiply the parameters x with y. So let me write that real quick. Return x star y. And now this other function is going to handle the division operation. So I'm going to call it division or divide. Give it two parameters, which is x and y, and I will return x slash y. So it's just a division function. Now I'll be creating a graphical user interface. Now this will provide the user with a selection of operations, and this will actually help the user figure out what they want to do. So I'm going to start off with my print statements. I'm going to say select operation. Okay, that looks pretty nice. And let's create more print functions. So print one.add. So if the user wants to if a user wants to add two numbers, they can just type in the number 1. Now I'll just copy and paste the rest, since it's easy to do that. Let's copy this, paste it like this, like so. And now I'll just replace whatever I put 1.add with. So the next one is going to be 2, which is going to be subtract, like so. The next one is going to be multiply. So that's going to be 3.multiply. And the last one will be division. So that's 4.divide. Alright, so now we've taken care of the GUI. Let's actually go on to the fun part, which is coding the calculator. So I'll start with a statement, while true. Now the reason I put a while loop is because I want to validate whether the user's input is actually suitable for my calculator. So I'm going to say while true, and then I'm going to take in an input from the user, which is called choice. So it's going to be input, and I'm going to say enter choice, which will be either 1, 2, 3, or 4. So the user is going to choose between these 4 choices. Let's give it a semicolon to separate it from the user's input, like that. And now we're going to check if the choice is one of the 4 options. So I'm going to create an if function, if statement, and I'm going to say if choice in, going to open my brackets, going to say 1, 2, 3, or 4. So if the input choice is in one of these elements, let's say num1 equals float input, and this will be enter first number. So this will be the first number that the user enters. Next, I'm gonna copy this since it's easier, and I'll paste this like so, and I'm going to replace num1 with num2, and I'm going to replace first with second, like so. Now I'm going to add a bit more if statements, and this is actually going to analyze the inputs of the user and carry out the different functions accordingly. So I'm going to say if choice is equal to 1, which is the addition, I'm going to say print num1. I'm going to concatenate it with a string which includes the plus symbol, like so, and num2, comma, equals, put that in the string, and I'm going to implement the function we created earlier, which is this one. So I'm going to say add num1 with num2. Now the reason I've added these concatenations with string is just because it's going to make the code more intuitive for the user to read and understand what's happening. So to make life easier, I'm going to copy and paste the rest of it, because that's what programmers do, just make life easier. Just press enter, copy and paste, change a few things. So I'm going to say elif choice 2, like so. I'm going to replace this with a minus sign, and then just replace the add function with subtract, like so. Simple as that. Now I'll be doing the rest for the different operations. Copy and paste, change this to elif choice number 3, and let's change the addition string to a star, which indicates multiplication, and we'll replace the addition function with multiply. And finally, we're gonna create an if statement for the division function. Replace if elif and replace 1 with 4. Replace the addition string with a slash, and replace the addition function with the divide function, like so. So that's handling the inputs of the user. And after the user inputs whatever number they want and they have received the output, let's break the function, or let's break the program so it doesn't carry on further on and crash the code. Now, in case the user's input does not belong inside one of these 4 choices, let's say else, and let's print invalid input. So what this will do is, if the user does not input 1, 2, 3, or 4, it will print invalid input, and it will loop back to the beginning. So it'll ask the user again if it wants to enter 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it'll keep doing that until the user inputs one of these 4 functions. So now that we got the hard part done, let's run our code. I'm going to run this. Alright, that's a calculator. Let's start off with an addition. Simple. 1 plus 2. I always struggle on that. 1 plus 2 equals 3. There you go. And now let's test out the subtract function. Let's say 2. I'm going to subtract 5 from 3, which will give us 2. There we go. And now let's try the multiply function. So I'm going to say 3, and I'm going to say 5, or 55. My computer kind of bugged out. And let's say 100 to make it easy to understand. So there we go, 5,500, and let's press 4 for division. Let's divide 25 from 5, or 5 from 25, and we get 5. So there you go, guys. This is a simple calculator. I hope you guys had a fun time watching me and figuring out how to implement your own calculator. And if you want to, you can even add more operations, more functions. It just follows the same algorithm. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next lesson.